Thank you for joining. Let's start by holding the head in the hands, elbows wide, feet hip distance apart. I want to go into cradle the head as we circle. So we're working the neck and the shoulders, nice and gently all the way around. So we're adding lateral flexion, extension, flexion of the spine, nice and easy. And we can start to deepen this stretch into a little bit of a back bend, a deeper side bend, more of a forward bend if we soften the knees around the back, just exploring where we can get a nice stretch around the body. So let's keep going in the same direction. You take it as deeply as you feel you want to, adding whatever extraneous movements you want to add in, that kind of hip sway, circling, and then let's change direction. Go nice and slowly. We don't want anyone getting dizzy this early on. You have lots of work to do. And just noticing how the body's feeling, anywhere we want to be a little bit kinder to in this session. Starting to add a little bit of a bend in the knees, so we're adding movement into the hips, all through the body, all working. And we can even relax the arms now if the body's a little bit more limbered up. And then let's come to standing. Feet are still wide, arms overhead, and we're taking a gentle swinging movement and taking a lift into the back heel as we slowly lower the arms. So it's just taking that rotation of the spine. We're changing the angle of the arms just to change the emphasis of that stretch as we rise up again. And then we're going to use a modified triangle as our lateral flexion of the spine. So when you're ready, let's place the feet nice and wide. We'll start by turning the left toes to the left wall. We have the heel to arch connection. With the right hand, we can kind of dial the right hip down slightly, left arm extends, reach for the side wall. Now, as a modified triangle, we're going to hold the head or the shoulder, left hand, palm facing forwards, and we'll take a bend and a stretch. So we're working with the breath. We can breathe out and come into like a modified extended side angle through a triangle, backing off out to the side bend. And let's either support the head or the shoulder, but nice and soft, heavy head and supported shoulder. Every time we go through this arc, see if you can feel maybe a centimeter longer. Nice deep breath in and out of the nose, lengthening through the spine. We're using the leg muscles to lift and lower. Twice more on this side, and then we'll switch. You can maybe even take the movement back a little bit, up and over. Taking a softening in the knee so we're not overstraining the back of the leg. Let's switch sides. Right toes out to the side, dial the hip down slightly, reach out wide, and either support the head or the shoulders, and let's take a gentle side bend. Going deeply as you're ready for. Let's spread the bones of the hands. Remember that sense of up and over, the softening of the knee. Nice heavy head. So we're getting a nice neck release here. Support the neck if there's any tension there. See if you can move with the breath. Breathing in tall, breathing out up and over. Twice more on this side, and then we're moving on. Enjoy the length. And then come all the way up. Let's switch to Pilates again and think about our alignment. Toes pointing forwards, squeeze the glutes, roll the shoulders back and down, palms facing forwards, chin tucked into the chest. Now feel like there's a magnet, top of the head to the ceiling. Take a moment to root down through the feet in order to rise up through the spine. Starting to feel the tallest you can be. Try to imagine where the back of the head and the back of the pelvis are. So we have that same, I always have to think vertical, horizontal, vertical line. All right, now pelvic floor. The next exhalation, Still feel tall, but start to think about your sit bones drawing together. The front of the pubic bone and the base of the spine drawing together, and then pulling up, like you're zipping up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Feel this corset pulling in around the waist. We pull up the pelvic floor as far as it will go, squeeze, squeeze. Breathe in to release. Let's have one more round, just focusing on that engagement in the pelvic floor. So think about the corners of a diamond pulling in together and up. So the exhalation, slight pelvic tilt, squeeze together and up. Hold, hold, hold. The next time we take that exhalation with a pelvic floor contraction, we're going to be adding a knee lift, and we'll start with the right leg. Breathe in to prepare, breathing out, engage. Pelvic floor lift, and take a brief twist. Breathe in, and we'll take to the other side. Breathing out, pelvic tilt, pelvic floor, weight into the right leg, lift and stretch, wide wingspan, return. Breathe in, breathing out, chin still back to the neck, squeeze, 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 reach wide. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out, shrink wrap, zip up tight jeans, the diamond, squeezing in, up, 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 squeeze, and lengthen. That idea of the magnet drawing the top of the head to the ceiling to help with your balance. Last set here, pelvic floor, rise up, 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 long through the spine, reach wide. Last side. Breathe in, pelvic tilt as you breathe out, tummy bottom back to the spine. Pull in, pull up, and stretch. Rotation for the spine, stretching the arms out wide, a chest opener, squeezing the glutes, lengthen through the spine, and then release out. Have a little shake out. So hopefully that's warmed you up. We're going straight on to sun salutations. 2 rounds, we're gonna have to be quick, because they're loaded with all the stretches we need for a healthy spine. So when you're ready, come to the front of your space and let's start. When you lose my head, you know I'll come back. Feet hip distance apart, tilt the pelvis, roll the shoulders back and down. Take a big stretch, reach overhead. Breathe out, swan diving the arms down and pausing your forward fold. Taking a halfway lift, lengthen the spine, crown of the head forward, sit bones back, grip the floor with the toes, squeeze the glutes, long spine. Hands down, let's all step our right foot back and lower the heel. Now we're at a 45-degree angle, think warrior one. Rise up, hip square to the front. We're taking warrior one into humble warrior. So hip square. We can start with the hands on the hips as we breathe in, gently leaning forwards, pressing the hips down, breathing out, bowing down to the right of that front knee. Breathing in to press up, and breathing out to lower down. If you feel you have your balance here, adding on the arms. So we breathe in, sweep the arms up. They're still slightly in front of the body. We lean back. We've got a yummy hip flexor stretch in the front of that right hip. The breath out, lowering the arms. We can clasp behind the back. And we're working towards shoulders back and down, bowing the head towards the floor on the instep, the arch of the foot side of your front foot, maybe lifting the clasped hands overhead, working with the breath. This is a lot of movement to fit into one phase of the breath, so hopefully we're using this time to slow the breath down. So remember, we can scale this down by placing the hands on the hips. That actually gives a really nice sensory feedback to keeping a slight tilt in the tailbone. And as we come into the warrior one position, the squaring of the hips to the front. Last time here. And then let's place the hands down on the floor. Pivot onto the back wall of the foot and step back to a plank. Knees can be down on the floor, chest towards the floor, elbows into the waist. Take a baby cobra, releasing your toes at the back, look down at the chest and rise up, squeezing the glutes. We tuck the toes and take it back to a down dog. You can pedal it through for this first round. So we ease the backs of the legs into a little bit of a length. Great. Now, for this, I'm going to mirror you. So I'm going to switch forward so I don't confuse you. We're going to step the right foot into a knee lunge. Lower the right knee, and we extend the left leg out to the side. We're coming up like a setup for a gate. Take a stretch over to the right, and then as we come over to the left, pivot on the ball of the foot, knee to the side, heel down, and we take a stretch. We're going between these two movements, so press into the ball of the foot, heel disappears behind the ball of the foot, and a lean over to the right. So we're working that hip mobility, inner thigh stretch, option to lift your upper arm. Side to side, strengthen the sides of the body. Chest open wide. Just getting used to a nice, easy movement in the hip. So the knee follows the line of the foot, the toes. You can hold the hips or add the arms overhead. Last time each side. So I'm mirroring you. This should be your left knee, the left hip that we're swiveling to this forward position to external rotation. That's the end of that round. Hands to the floor, bring your knees back in line, tuck the toes, and come back via down dog. We're stepping the hands and the feet together, standing up tall, stretch overhead, breathe in to let the hands meet overhead and breathe out heart center. We'll do the same to the other side. So top of your space, breathe in and reach up. Breathe out, press the air down, hold the ankles, shake out the head. Halfway lift, 90-degree angle, feel the length in the spine, then left leg, everyone step the left leg back. Lower the heel, 45-degree angle, there's a gap down the center line of the mat. That allows us to keep the hip square to the front. Front knee bent, back leg straight. So hands on the hips for the first round. Deep breath in, lengthening the spine. So pressing the hips down, shoulders down, the breath out. We come slightly to the left so that we can bow the chest down on the inside of that front knee. Pressing through both feet to rise up. Option to add on the arms. Each time we come up, try to think lengthen the longer spine rather than crunching your spine into that extension. Length. If we're taking the full humble warrior, the hands clasped, rolling the shoulders back and down, long spine, working towards the crown of the head to the floor as the hands lift. And then that press through both feet, strong through the core. Last one, and then the hands will stay on the floor, framing the front foot. Fabulous. Hands on the floor, let's step back to a plank, elbows into the waist. If we're taking a chaturanga, we roll onto the toes, eyes of the elbows pointing forwards, lowering down, and then releasing the toes, baby cobra. Length, so the fingertips are clawing down and towards your belly, the side of your waist, So you're pulling your chest through. Take a down dog. Lovely. Feel the shape, the length down the backs of the legs, the arms. Okay, so again, I'm going to mirror you. It is going to be your left knee to the floor, right leg up to the side. In your gate set up position. Take a moment to stretch to the side, supporting the hips. And then remember, we pivot on the ball of the foot to lift the knee, then lower the heel, and we take this modified extended side angle. Work with the breath, flowing, hip movement, knee forwards, length. Option to add the arms. So we're thinking about the knee with a kind of Pilates head on, with the knee and toes in a line. Hip mobility. Nice gradual, controlled movement through the hip. And then the yoga breath with movement. Adding on whatever intensity you wish. We're finishing this round with the hands on the floor, knees together, tuck the toes, and we'll walk the hands and the feet together, rolling up through the spine, and at the top, rolling the shoulders back and down. Coming down to the floor, we're going to take our cow face pose with a bind. We've not done that one for a while. So roll down through the spine, have a little sway on the way. Find the floor and come to sitting. Let's start with the right knee bent, the left foot on the outside, because we've got the option of sitting in our seated twist here to get a nice stretch in the bottom cheek. Option, glide the foot a little bit further around, maybe come onto the hands so we can stack the knees. Don't worry if you can't sit fully between the feet. That will come. The main thing is we're internally rotating the hips, and this is great for hip health. Reach the arms overhead, take a nice deep breath. Now drop the right hand behind your back, left arm behind, and reaching the fingertips towards each other. If that's not happening, don't worry. We can hold the top elbow and take a little bit of a side to side sway, trying to take any stress out of the hips, any clenching in the thighs. Close the eyes and try and find a little bit of heaviness through the legs. Just breathing into it. Pressing the head into the forearms, so we're nice and long through the spine, right into the cervical spine. And the last breath here, we're going to place the hands either side of the knee and bow the head down. Maybe we create fists for the forehead. Maybe we just let the head fall, chin resting on the knees. Breathing deeply, enjoy the stretch, and just try to trust and release any clenching. Letting the shoulders relax. Think a smile. Gently sway if that just helps to distract you from any tightness in the hips. Head last to come up, place the hands back, coming close into the body, and we're switching sides, but come back via a point of symmetry, legs out in front of you, and have a little shake. The same setup on the other side. It'll be your left leg bending, and we can either take a seated twist here, which you're very familiar with, or rocking weight into the hands to stack the knees, separate the feet, and lowering back. Take a moment to settle down. And when you're ready, extend the right arm, bend at the elbow, and coax the elbow up to the ceiling. So take a moment to Root down through the sit bones and rise up through the spine. Press the head into the forearm. So we keep a nice long neck, shoulders relaxed and down. If you can, take a bind, go ahead with this now. And take a moment to close the eyes. It's really nice if you take the bind, you can use a strap here, that works well. There's that feeling of the hand in the mid-back or where we tend to arch around the back. It just gives us that reminder to puff the chest out and lengthen through the spine. Any gentle swaying here. We're going to come into the forward fold. So hands on the floor or in fists, or using the fingers to massage out the hips. We take a gentle forward fold, no forcing, just trying to breathe. Focus on the breath if it's particularly tight. And we pause here just for a couple of breaths. Remembering any gentle movements, all fine. When you're ready, head last to come up, pace the hands back and slowly unwind the legs. Legs out wide, have a sway. So that was internally rotating. Now let's externally rotate by taking a butterfly. The soles of the feet together, hold it around the toes and have a little sway, rock from side to side. So Baddha Konasana or cobbler pose, butterfly. Take a deep breath in, lengthening through the spine. And as you breathe out, see if we can draw the elbows forwards and down and come into a forward fold. Drop the head and add that sway side to side to focus a little bit more softening. Rather than forcing, just gently swaying to release out any tension, any clenching, and then pause here. Breathing deeply. Now let's see if we can use the in-breath to find length in the spine, maybe backing up out of the stretch, and the breath out, finding that heaviness, that pull of gravity drawing you down. Once more with the breath, breathing in, lengthening, nice, easy, comfortable, happy neck, and breath out, melting down. Hands on the floor, come up to sitting. Help the knees back together and we're coming onto our backs. We're going to take a core strengthening exercise, but with an isometric hold and movement in the legs. So let's start by hooking the knees into the chest. Now, listen carefully. Left hand behind the head, left knee stays bent, right leg straight. Okay, so same bent arm as bent knee. Your free hand, opposite hand, pressing on the thigh. And we're taking 10 leg raises with this straight leg. So when you're ready, let's first of all find that push-pull connection between the thigh and the hand, and where we have a neutral spine. So your core should be strong right from the start. And it's the action of pushing against the thigh with that resistance, and now the pelvic floor, which you've woken up. Let's go and lift and lower. So isometrically strengthening the core because we keep that tension between the hand and the thigh. 2. So throughout, can we try to maintain those shallow curves of the spine? We're holding the head so there are no creases in the back of the neck. So long neck. And also to give us that reminder to keep the shoulder down. Throughout, we're maintaining this push and draw in of the thigh, that pressure between the hand and the thigh, so we don't relieve that stretch, that lengthened position of the tailbone, because we're holding that crunch in the core throughout. You're halfway there on this side. Take a nice deep breath, but we want to try to keep the front ribs knitted together and down, the tummy bottom back to the spine. Where it gets difficult, a little bit of shaking's fine. You'll hear my voice is starting to shake. That's all fine, but let's try and add on a pull in the pelvic floor. So feel that heat gathering in your core. I think we've got another 2 on this side, and then we'll hug the knees into the chest for a break. Last one, go for it. Keep the pelvis tilting, no excessive arch in the spine. Strong. And hug the knees into the chest. Well done. Let's set up the other side. Hold the head and draw the head away. So this pulls the chin in towards the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Opposite hand to thigh. And now feel that pelvic tilt and where we need to be in the thigh so that we have that held contraction in the core. All right, extending your other leg. Embrace yourselves, and we're in this together. Let's go. Press, press, press as we lift. And press to control the lowering down. We can reduce the range of movement and even take a bend into the knee. So find whatever adjustments you need to make so that we're maintaining shallow curves of the spine. So while the leg's doing its thing and we've got this pressure between the hand and the thigh, see if you can use your mind's eye to draw the curves of the spine. So we have a more shallow curve in the neck because we're holding the head and drawing the head back. We've got that pelvic tilt and squeeze in the pelvic floor. So we're maintaining a pelvic tilt so there's less of curve in the lower spine. So we're holding the spine, decompressing along the spine, and we're holding it in place. Remember to try to draw the ribs together. It's very tempting, particularly as we get tired, to start to allow the abs and the ribs to flare. Last 2. Reach length and feel length through the legs, really pressing against the thigh to give you that strength. Last one. And then hug the knees into the chest. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Take the arms to a wide T, and let's take one of our old lying twists. Left leg straight, right foot in towards the knee and drop it up and over the body to the left. We can use the left hand to guide the knee over and then rocking side to side so the right shoulder can come back to the floor. And rocking side to side, aiming to keep both shoulders on the floor and getting a gentle twist in the spine. The right hand, the arm is extended, back of the hand pressing into the floor to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. We still have the chin tucked into the chest. Breathing deep in and out of the nose, enjoying that long exhalation. One more breath on this side. And then we take both knees into the chest before we take it to the other side. Little rock, then extend the right leg, left foot, the inner thigh, dropping over the body. You can adjust the hips. Now, as we've said in other classes, we can take the head to wherever it feels comfortable. So I encourage you to roll on the back of the head, side to side, and then pause where it feels comfortable. Then we can focus on the shoulders being down, reaching out through that left arm, a little bit of activation. Press on the floor with the back of the hand, the back of the arm, and lengthen through the extended arm. And then enjoy the lengthened out breath, the release, the softening that comes with the long out breath. Last breath here. And then gently come center, both knees into the chest. Take hold of the big toes with your peace fingers. Elbows on the insides of the knees, and see if you can shine the soles of the feet to the ceiling. Elbows onto the outsides of the knees. Take a little bit of a rock, maybe tap down. If you're comfortable here, switch to the full happy baby, holding on the little toe side. We're drawing the knees into the armpits and pushing. There's pressure between the fingers and the soles of the feet, shoulders down. Yummy stretch to the backs of the legs, inner thighs. Last little stretch here. Option to extend one leg at a time for a hamstring stretch. Each side. And then that's it. Hold behind the knees, have a little rock on the spine. Take your time to come up. And then